From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine on a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine, powered by cleveland.com. We are powered tonight by the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, and we're going to talk some baseball, believe it or not. Hello, D-Man. How are you?
What's up, Les? How you doing?
Doing okay. Interesting World Series. Let me tell you what I thought was the most interesting statement and who I heard it from concerning the World Series. Vin Scully, who probably has seen more baseball games than almost anybody, was interviewed by Bob Nightingale of USA Today between games 5 and 6, and he said, "What's taken the Dodgers so long? Who would know more about baseball that the unexpected is what should be expected than Vin Scully?" And yet he was showing frustrations as a fan, wondering why it took so long for the Dodgers to put away the Rays. Wouldn't you, unless it was a put on by Vin?
Well, Les, was he talking about what took the Dodgers so long to get back to the winner's circle in the World Series, or to put away the Rays?
I thought to put away the Rays, but you could be right. Maybe I read it wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I was wondering why the Dodgers hadn't won since '88, given how much talent they've accumulated over the years since then. Since Bulldog and the boys upset the A's in '88. But as far as the series goes, I mean, it went 6 games. I was hoping it would be at least 6 or 7. One of the 2 losses for the Dodgers was really a freakish type loss. That last pitch type thing. So the Dodgers did control the series for the most part. And, they were the heavily favored team going in. So I don't know that the result is all that shocking.
No, the result wasn't shocking. You know, it is shocking to think that it's been that long since Kirk Gibson hit that home run off Eckersley, and it's, how many years? 32 years.
32,
that's the hard part for me to adjust to at this point. But all in all, I would say baseball made a heck of a return based on all the things going with him. And then all of a sudden, last game, it turns out to be the last game, and you've got Justin Turner because he tested positive for...
Yeah, Les, that was really a crazy situation with Justin Turner. What's that, Les?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a glitch there. I'm sorry. I got frozen there. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Justin Turner situation was really, really crazy because apparently there was a inconclusive test early in the game. Then the word came down from MLB that he had in fact tested positive late in the game. So he was removed after the 7th inning. He was put into a side office, the official beginning of quarantine. But then when the Dodgers won, according to MLB, he just refused to listen to the MLB officials and went out on the field to celebrate with his team. And there were times when he was out there without his mask. It's really very, I don't know. To me, it doesn't shed a good light on Justin Turner at all. That to me is a selfish act. I know
it is a selfish act, but it's also once in a lifetime. You've been dreaming about it for 30 years or however old he is. And it's tough to tell what to do at that point, but somebody should have taken charge. Manfred or somebody should have said, well, what happens if? And that would have been a big if. And how about a couple of things? How about if he comes up in a game-winning situation, or he's supposed to come up and he can't, and they got the guy off the end of the benches there? Or what if what if the test turned out to be wrong and they lose the game anyway? That's a tough way to go. I don't know about lawsuits involved because the owners aren't going to sue other owners, but that's a tough call.
Yeah, Les, MLB put out a statement, and it said that flat out Justin Turner disregarded what they were asking him to do. He told MLB security, I'm going out there to celebrate. By the way, Justin Turner became a free agent at the conclusion of the World Series because his 4-year contract ended that with the final out of the World Series. So that's another layer to it. What you say about what would have happened if, Turner's spot in the order had come up and they needed him and he was out and then it was a false positive. How about this one, Les? What if the Rays had won last night? What would MLB be doing with Game 7 today?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. You know who has
And-
the answer to that? Mr. Gullible. Mr. Gullible, you have an answer for that or anything else
Great
And-
show, Les.
today?
All the ball.
Any Day with D-Man is a great show.
All right.
Hey, baseball analytics. They're supposed to be a guide, a help, not something that's shackled to keep the managers chained to an ideology, which is basically what we have.
Hey, Gullible. D-Man and I were just talking basically word for word before the show started.
Well, I imagine it's on the minds of you guys and many people. We have numbers geeks who have never played the game at an advanced level, dictating and scripting games. And I'm no fan of Blake Snell. If you remember the moronic statement he made before the season, but he was really robbed by his own manager, who handed him, wait for it, Les, a truncated start. He was mowing batters down. He wasn't losing his velocity. Kevin Cash, he was a good soldier, and he took the blame. But I was watching Harold Reynolds last night, and he was ranting about this last night, and knowing that the manager must take the blame, but he must have the freedom to, to have a feel for the game, have a feel for the situation. Blake Snell was mowing them down.
I think if you have the cachet, and Kevin Cash didn't have it going in, if you're Terry Francona, you can go make a move because you don't care what you have to tell the owner or your general manager or whatever. Kevin Cash still, if he got fired today, would somebody pick him up tomorrow? Maybe, maybe not though.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
switching gears real. Okay, go ahead, D-Man.
yeah, Gullible is referring, of course, to Blake Snell, the talented Rays lefty, who, by the way, won the American League Cy Young in 2018. 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits, and 73 pitches. After 1 out in the 6th, he gives up a single to the number 9 hitter. With Mookie coming up, leading off, Kevin Cash hooks him, and Nick Anderson comes in. Anderson winds up giving up, let's see, one of those, the run that was on base when Snell left, plus another run. Dodgers take a 2-1 lead, win it 3-1. And Snell was running hot, and rightly so. He should be upset. And Gullible makes a point, so did Les, of course, that this was the intersection of the analytics and the human element, because the human eyeball told you that Blake Snell was throwing like a 2018 Cy Young Award winner, and it didn't matter what the script said. It didn't matter because, listen, Kevin Cash said after the game that he didn't want Snell to go through that order for the 3rd time. That leads you to believe there was some scripted element involved there. Even though he said that wasn't a pre-planned move, he just went and got him because he didn't want him to face the order the 3rd time.
Let's go one step further on that, D-Man, and to Mr. Gullible. That would be Mr. G. If you're talking about Blake Snell, that's a little different than Joe Smith. I don't mean Joe Smith, the pitcher, but Fred Smith. Blake Snell got himself enough cachet, and the manager should know his man better than anybody else. And I don't know. I wouldn't want somebody to make a decision for me if I had job security, and apparently Kevin Cash did not.
Oh, you're exactly right. He has to have a feel for the game, and you can't just always go by 3rd time around into the lineup.
And Gullible, how about this? You and Les know the truth. The first 2 times through the order, the Dodgers 1, 2, 3 hitters, Mookie, Seager, and Turner against Snell last night were 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts. So Brad Snell's
Blake Snell's
like, what do I have to do? You know?
You could tell he was upset when they pulled him. He wasn't losing any velocity. Hey, switching gears real quick before we run out of time.
Hey, I'd love to have seen if that was Bob Gibson on the mound.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That would have been Bob Gibson is amazing. You guys heard about the Cowboys defensive coordinator with the Zoom meeting? Did you hear about that?
What he was eating? It was bad lunch.
He got Tabasco sauce in his.
Oh, get out of here! Enough! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Wow.
He's gotten cocky. I've let two of his quickies get by in the last couple of days. Now he thinks he can do anything. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about? I'm getting a little tired already of the Beckham story. How about you, D-Man?
You're getting what, Les? I'm sorry.
I'm getting a little tired of the Beckham situation.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think it's going to hang over this team for the remainder of the year because every game that Baker plays for the rest of this season, it's going to be viewed as, okay, either he played well, see, he didn't miss Odell, or he played poorly, see, he did miss Odell.
Yeah.
I think Beckham is going to hang over this team for the remainder of the year.
And it's not Baker's fault. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. And we'll come back. You can also get us on Facebook, facebook.com. We put up the question first thing in the morning. You respond all day long. You get it on the air that night on facebook.com. More Sports and Les Levine continues into our 25th consecutive year nightly, powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
All right, there you go. You're having trouble hearing Brian. Did you hear Brian, D-Man?
About what Doug Gottlieb said. I mean, listen, he's not the only one who's made that claim, both nationally and locally. I'm wondering myself, will Baker Mayfield look better without Odell Beckham Jr.? That's a fair question to ask. Here's the thing, Les. You can have two things true at the same time. Number one, Odell Beckham Jr. as a very talented player will be missed by the Cleveland Browns, who could use all the talented players they could find, right? But it can also be true that maybe, just maybe, even though Odell was immensely talented or is immensely talented, he just didn't quite have the chemistry with Baker Mayfield. And perhaps now that Odell's out of the mix, maybe Baker Mayfield is able to spread the ball around better and free up his mind a little bit. Those two things can be true at the same time.
All right, so let me ask you this. If you're going to have a choice, which guy is going to be your key guy, or is going to run the offense, or the offense will run through him? Is it Baker Mayfield or is it Odell Beckham? One would think that it's got to be the quarterback who's running things through him, and so the game plan runs through the quarterback also. And by the way, if you're going to replace somebody, and obviously there's a big hole on the offense, that doesn't mean you can't replace it by somebody on the defense who might do more for you.
Right, and I think you were saying that if Odell were healthy, what does the offense run through? I mean, to me, when everybody's healthy with the Cleveland Browns, the offense should run through Chubb and Hunt, and then move toward Baker with the expectation that, you know, Baker perhaps needs to win some games here and there, but this should be a running-based attack. With Chubb out, you've got to be able to throw the ball. And with Odell out, now you've got, I guess, pressure on other guys to step up. But I expect to see Rashard Higgins play well for the remainder of the year. I don't think that 6 catches for 110 yards should be the expectation for Higgins every single game like he did against Cincinnati this past Sunday. But in 2018, he clearly had chemistry with Baker. And on Sunday in Cincinnati, he definitely had it. And I think Rashard Higgins is a talented wide receiver. How good is he? How high is his ceiling? I don't think anybody really knows. But he's not just, to me, a run-of-the-mill guy that you throw out there. I think he has the ability to make plays and help this offense.
5 touchdown passes on the game for Baker Mayfield. He is named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. So he got some national exposure. Can we, just by what we saw on Sunday, can we assume that we'll try to see this the rest of the year, or do we pull the ropes back in and try something else? I mean, it looks like you found a formula. Go with it.
It looks like what, Les?
You found the right formula. Go with it.
Well, I think what it has to be, and by the way, if I would have told you before the game, Les, that Baker Mayfield, as coming off of the struggle that he had against Pittsburgh, if he would throw 5 TDs and none of the 5 would be caught by either Landry or Beckham, you probably would have told me I was crazy. But as it turned out, 2 for Bryant, 1 for Hunt, 1 for Njoku, and 1 for Donovan Peoples-Jones.
22 of 28, 297 yards and 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was the first one of the game. It makes you wonder, D-Man, in the second series, if Baker goes maybe 1 first down and out, is he still around as
What's
quarterback? If Baker Mayfield in the second series, after the interception in the first series, if he goes maybe one first down or no first downs and out, are we seeing Case Keenum?
That's a question, thankfully, that Kevin Stefanski won't have to ask because it is such a hypothetical. But you wondered, I mean, as poorly as it began for Baker Mayfield, that first throw intended for Beckham, bad throw picked off. He winds up starting 0 for 5. Then he rips off 21 consecutive completions. Then he has a spike, which I believe does not count against his consecutive completion streak. Then he throws the touchdown pass to Peoples-Jones. So for all intents and purposes, he finished the game with 22 straight completions for basically 300 yards and 5 touchdowns.
You think that spike you think that spike doesn't count in the stats?
my understanding is it is a team play. It is a team pass play, but specifically pertaining to the consecutive completion streak, I don't think it does. Now,
okay, so wait a minute. So maybe on the stats for the game, it shows one thing, but the stats for the record or whatever he's trying to do, run off more completions.
Unless I wish, I know that Baker would say he doesn't care, okay? But for those of us on the outside, find it fascinating that he might be carrying a 22 completion streak into the Las Vegas Raiders game. But his final stat line reflected the spike.
Right.
But again, just pertaining to a consecutive completion streak.
Yeah, you could be right.
I'm not sure that a spike counts against it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair if it did, but you may be very right. No question about that. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff is with us, talking anything right now, talking World Series, Baker Mayfield, and what's going to go on the rest of the way. You got the interesting part of the schedule here, D-Man. You've got the Las Vegas Raiders and then the bye week. You wind up with a win over Las Vegas and sit around and watch everybody else play. That puts you in even greater shape, and that's the goal here. And by the way, I don't want to hear, well, it was Cincinnati 2 games, and it was this, and it was that. Take a look around the NFL. Wins are wins, and they don't ask you who'd you beat.
Exactly. And I know somebody will laugh at me, or maybe a few people will laugh at me or saying, well, why would you bring up the New England Patriots in the same sentence as the Browns? But nobody seemed to ask Belichick and Brady year after year about the quality of competition or lack thereof.
They never had competition between the Miami, the Dolphins and the Bills and the who else? We talked the Jets.
Well, the Jets. Yeah, I mean, for most of the Belichick-Brady era, the Jets have been terrible, the Dolphins have been terrible, and the Bills haven't been any good either. Just because the Bills are good now doesn't mean they were good for most of Belichick-Brady, but nobody seemed to have an issue with the Patriots winning the AFC East year after year and securing that first-round bye because they were beating up on the tomato cans in that division.
And home field advantage all the way.
What's that?
And home field advantage most of the way after that.
Yeah, I mean, but certainly with the Browns, we're those of us who want to see the Browns succeed are in no position to nitpick. You take the 5-2, you run with it, you're thrilled with it. It doesn't matter how it was built. And I submit, Les, I know this is dangerous, but as someone who wants the Browns to win, if they win on Sunday, I'm going to be so cocky as to say they're virtually a lock to make the playoffs because I don't see, given that you're 6-2, I think all you need to do is get to 9 in the expanded playoffs with 7 teams in, and the Browns would have a leg up on the Colts and the Vegas Raiders because they beat them head to head. So I think a win Sunday, for all intents and purposes, locks up a playoff berth.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations. Check them out at West 140th near the airport, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia, northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone!
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Well, they have a really good defensive line coach. They're explosive off the ball, looking for knockback, and do a lot of movement. So you have to be kind of all on the same page across the offensive line, making sure we know where we're going, how we're going to get there, both on run and pass. That's one thing with teams that move so much. Usually you expect it on third downs with twists, but these guys will move and twist and pirate right in the run game. So you have to be aware of that at all times and make sure both the backside and the front side of the run are ready for it and have the call in place to pick it all up.
Big challenge this week in our building versus the Las Vegas Raiders, a well-coached football team on offense, a ton of weapons. Obviously, the tight end, the receivers, the back, an extremely skilled quarterback that can make every throw. Defensively, the scheme we know a little bit with Coach Gunther, and then they add Rod Marinelli to the group, and you see his influence on what they're doing. So it's a very physical front. It's a very disciplined, sound defense. They rotate coverages really throughout. They do a nice job. So we're going to have our work cut out for us, but we've got to have a great week of practice and get ready.
Hey, D-Man, do you notice every coach, rookie coach, you put them on the ladder of success, all of them make sure they mention how good the other coaching staff is, A, just in case they need a job somewhere down the line, or B, they're feeling a little inferior about their own ability to compete.
Yeah, the professor, Kevin Stefanski, GQ's favorite NFL head coach. Listen, I like so much about Kevin Stefanski and what he has done in his short time with the Browns. But if you ever go into a presser looking for something or trying to hear something from Kevin Stefanski that'll make you go, oh, yeah, okay, you're going to be disappointed. Because
you know what? I think he gave something the other day. I think that the Hail Mary pass at the end of the game thrown by Burrow, where he didn't have it successfully defensed. He had it figured that Burrow couldn't get to the end zone with his arm, which is ridiculous. His arm's as good as anybody in the league. But he was thinking there was going to be a shorter pass than the goal line, and it was going to turn into a lateral play. And,
I see.
And he admitted that he won't make that mistake again, which I'll give him credit for that. But how could you got to know that Joe Burrow can hit the end zone from there. 11 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, that's true. I hear you. And, there were some people that were calling in to my post-game show on WTAM last saying that there was pass interference, I believe, on Joseph for the Browns, but that's not going to get called.
No, but how about the fact that they missed the extra point? Nobody thinks anything of it. Say, well, that's all right, we took the lead. And then you say, wait a minute, if they get a Hail Mary, it's a 3-point game, and you're kicking a short field goal to win it, or to tie it and then win it. Could have happened.
Well, yeah, the Browns squib kicked, didn't they? And Bengals returned it to like the 40 or something like that. And you wonder if there had been 15, 16 seconds left and they had squibbed it. I don't know if they guaranteed would have squibbed with that much time left instead of the amount that was left.
Analytics tell you that the guy has to get fired at halftime. If that happens.
That he has to what?
He has to get fired at halftime.
Well, I've seen Brady and Belichick, they get a ball at, let's say, they're 25 with 25 seconds left, and they throw a couple outs instead of trying to go for a big chunk down the field.
No, they're going to chop up the field.
Yeah, they do a couple of 12 to 15 yarders, and the next thing you know, they're in field goal range.
Right. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. All right, the Las Vegas Raiders come in. They certainly look like the Oakland Raiders, same uniforms, great uniform. By the way, I think they're the best uniforms in football. The Raiders' dark uniforms.
What's that, Les?
I think they're the best uniforms in the game.
Silver and black.
Yeah, I love them. Love them.
Yeah.
I'd have been an Oakland fan. I would have been a good Oakland fan if the Browns weren't here. You know, one more year of them being in Baltimore without the Browns getting the franchise here, I might have taken up the offer to become an Oakland fan. What do you expect to see this time? You expect to see Baker continue what he did last week? You expect to see him feel it out? I'll tell you what, a lot of people would feel a lot better if he did it 2 weeks in a row, although a performance like that is unthinkable that you could do it 2 weeks in a row, and I don't care who they're playing against.
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret. This is a step up in weight class for the Browns. The Browns' defense is going to be tested. I mean, if Joe Burrow and the Bengals can slice and dice the Browns' defense, then Derek Carr and Jacobs and the rest of those guys can do the same to the Browns. So I think that it is going to be a shootout, which means it is incumbent upon Baker Mayfield to play extremely well and put up big numbers. I don't think you're going to be able to run the ball to keep up with Derek Carr and that dynamic offense. I think you go in as a Browns team, the Browns as a team, not just the offense, but the team goes in. I hate to say this because I really am dumping on the defense. I think you go in conceding 30 points to the Raiders. You're basically saying the Raiders are going to score 30 plus.
Well, the Browns are giving up 30 points to everybody.
That means you have to score at least 30 to 35 to win.
Look at those numbers again on Derek Carr. The interceptions to touchdown ratio, when you take a look at it, it's pretty impressive. And there you go. 2 interceptions, 13 touchdowns. Now, it's not a huge amount of touchdowns, but 13 and 2 is a pretty good number. And completion rate of 72%. This is a guy doing what Gruden's asking him to do, no question about that. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. So what do you expect to see? You expect to see the Browns open? You're expecting them to concede at least 30 points, and then they have to go out and score 35, right?
I mean, that's the thing, Les. They'll never say that, and of course the defense will want to say, we're going to pitch a shutout.
Right.
But I live in the real world. I don't live in fantasy land. When I look at that matchup, the Vegas offense against the Browns defense, I see a minimum of 30. So if you're the Browns, you've got to keep up. And the best way to keep up is to sling it around the yard. It's not to run the ball. Of course, you're going to try to run it. Of course, you're going to try to control the game a little bit. But look at the Raiders defense. The Browns could say, hey, we can feast on you guys just like you're going to feast on us.
Points allowed, 32. It's 31st in the NFL. And yards allowed is 403. That's 28th in the league. And on and on. Turnovers, 3 for when do I stop calling? When is it okay to stop calling them Oakland? Soon?
Yeah, and Les, how about that graphic that Brian and the research staff put up? 3 turnovers that the Raiders have benefited from. 3, that's it.
How do you like Myles Garrett, though, with that move that he's got that turns into the strip sack? It's almost like when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing, and you say, well, why doesn't everybody do the hook shot? Why doesn't everybody do what Myles Garrett does?
Here's the thing, Les.
Because he's Myles Garrett.
Is playing, defensive player of the year caliber football. Denzel Ward is obviously doing a really nice job at corner. Without those two guys, I mean, who else on the defense is really doing anything on a consistent level?
Nobody. No tackles, no sacks, other than Myles, of course.
I mean, Myles has, I think, 9 sacks, but he needs some help on that D-line.
I think he's produced more sacks than the rest of the linemen together. We'll check on that during the break. Right now, Smiley One is making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for further details. Drive around east side, west side, south side, Akron. You'll see Smiley trucks everywhere you go. We're coming back in a moment with Dennis Manoloff. And back in a moment, more sports and Les Levine. Of course, his powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Dennis, the NFL trade deadline is approaching next week, and one area the Browns might look to improve in is at the secondary. CBS Sports suggests that the Browns try and pull off a trade with the Minnesota Vikings. They say eyes creep towards Minneapolis, where the coaching staff might find intrigue in their former players, Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris. Smith is under contract through 2021, but the Browns could cut him without any dead cap space. Harris is playing on the franchise tag. They would each come at a premium cost, but the AFC North franchise has the most salary cap space in the league, with an excess of $31.1 million. Pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach Jeff Howard has previously coached both of these guys. So let's take a look at Harrison Smith. He is 31 years old and he's in his 9th NFL season. This year he's got 25 tackles and an interception, and he's made the Pro Bowl for the last 5 seasons. Over 120 career games, he's amassed 24 career interceptions. Now, Anthony Harris is someone the Browns have looked at in the past. He's 29 years old in his 6th NFL season. He's registered 29 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and he's got 2 passes defended this season. Now, last year, he actually led the NFL with 6 interceptions, and he's got 9 career interceptions in 71 games. So, Les, Dennis, just want to check with you guys. Would you explore possibly making a trade with Minnesota to help improve the Browns secondary?
You know,
100%.
Yeah, when you say Minnesota, you think it's 100%. On the other hand, if a guy's available at this point of the season, which is after this week, will be halfway through for the Browns, and who knows how long it would take for the guy to get ready to play. I don't know. That seems to be on paper, that's a good move. In reality, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I want to see it. I mean, I've liked watching those two guys from afar. Admittedly, I haven't watched them game over game, but Smith and Harris have been intriguing players, and you know you have that sort of familiarity with some of the former Vikings assistants now with the Browns, including Stefanski. I think the Browns need to import some help on defense. I don't think they can just sit and try to figure out how to, be a good defense with hoping just guys that you have on your roster come back. If they're serious about winning in the playoffs, and I know that's a lot to ask, you got to get there first. But if you get there and you're serious about winning, I think you've got to upgrade from outside.
That's an interesting point, because the one side of it is don't bring any new people into the system because it may be confusing. On the other hand, you're saying you've got 6 or 7 weeks, plus maybe a bye, maybe who knows what else you've got. But that's enough time to get the guy integrated into the system. That's a good point, D-Man.
Yeah, I think they're going to explore, and it wouldn't shock me at all if somebody is brought in that has name recognition.
I forget the name recognition. What do you do with that, with Beckham's spot? Do you go for a quality wide receiver? Do you go for another? I don't think you can go for another tight end, but do you go for guys who aren't necessarily star quality, but they are bodies that could fill up some space?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the tight end. When Hooper returns from the appendectomy, I think you're really in a good spot at tight end with Hooper, Njoku, and Bryant, or Hooper, Bryant, Njoku. I know Njoku probably feels like he could be putting up better numbers somewhere else. But if I'm the Browns, I say, politely, tough and too bad, Dave. We want you this year because we think you can help us in spots. And look what happened in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Njoku only caught 2 passes, but one of them was a clutch touchdown catch in a very tight window. Regarding the wideouts, I mean, obviously Landry's dealing with a cracked rib, but he's a gamer. You've got Cotterill Hodge coming back. I have high hopes for Hollywood Higgins, but it wouldn't surprise me if they brought in somebody from the outside on the receiver side, thinking about a guy like Stills, maybe somebody else. But I don't know that you automatically roll with the guys you have. Although, what did we hear from either Stefanski or Baker saying, hey, we like what we have in this room?
Well, they have to say that, even if they don't. Mohamed Sanu is an interesting character, although he hasn't played all year. I'm not sure how long it would take him to get game ready. So I don't know if I'd like to go after him.
Yeah, but you're right to say that the players, in the locker room are going to support the players who are there, and they're not going to say anything outrageous, like, oh, yeah, we definitely need to import some wide receivers, and you're standing right next to, a second-tier wide receiver on the Browns.
Right. All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct. They've got the garage sale going on. Started 21 years ago in a garage in Lakewood. It continues today to be one of the great success stories in Northeast Ohio. We'll come back in a moment. Dennis Manoloff's with us. If you'd like to speak to him or me, you're more than welcome. 216-575-0403. We'll come back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
D-Man, you're not going to like this. This date in sports history, October 28th, 1995, the Atlanta Braves win the World Series over the Cleveland Indians 4-2, defeating the Indians 1-0 in Game 6. I'll ask you a question about that series in a moment. Let's take a look at our birthdays for today. Lenny Wilkins, former Cavs coach. Scott Free, born in 1947. Mark Carrier, Steve Atwater, Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis, and Jared Jack, former Cavalier, all born on the 28th of October. 216-575-0403. D-Man, it's obvious to some people. What would, when you go back to that 95 World Series, 6-game, 4-2, Atlanta winning it, what's the most enduring memory you have of that series, positive or negative?
Joe Brinkman's ridiculous strike zone, specifically in Game 6 with Glavine on the mound. It sounds like, a whiny Cleveland guy, loser, saying that Glavine benefited. But, I mean, come on. You looked at what he was able to do. And I don't blame Tom
Watch
Glavine
it again, and
either.
it's worse than we thought it was.
What's that?
Watch it again. It'll be worse than you thought it was.
Yeah, and by the way, if I were Tom Glavine, I would have done the exact same thing. I mean, he and Javi Lopez were sitting there going, all right, you're going to give it to us 2 inches off. Let's see if you'll give it to us 3 inches
Right.
off. How about 4? How about 5?
Yeah, until he stops, why bother?
Right, and it was obnoxious. That kind of strike zone, even as bad as a plate umpire can be in today's game, that bad umpire in today's game, he would look like the greatest plate ump ever compared to Brinkman in Game 6. So that sticks in my mind. Obviously, Eddie Murray wanting to duke it out with Maddox at Progressive at Jacobs Field. I think of that. I think of Albert Bell and Hannah Storm. That issue there. So here's the thing, though, Les. Fortunately for me, as a lifelong Clevelander, I guess, I've been able to view 1995 with a much more relaxed feel.
Why? Because they got there?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. 95, just getting there was a glorious thing, okay? And the regular season team was so awesome, that 144 record in the regular season, that I reflect, when I think of 95, I think more of the regular season than I do of the postseason. Unfortunately, in 97, after you got done losing the World Series in 95, you sit there and you go, all right, 2 years later, you're in again. You got to win it this time.
Yeah, but they weren't nearly as good. That team was not nearly as good.
And the 97 regular season was very nondescript. I think they were 87 or 86 and 75.
Right.
I don't know that they played 162, but the fact is they finished with fewer than 90 victories and yet got to the World Series. But once you get there for the second time in 3 years, you got to win it.
Bud Shaw's favorite memory of the 95 series was, I think it was Game 6, and Dennis Martinez was going to be the starter, and he missed the team bus. And Bud was down waiting for the media bus, or to get I guess they had a car, and Martinez asked Bud to drive him to the stadium. Now I don't know how that's a pretty good ride, isn't it, from wherever they stayed to where the stadium is? And you've had players get lost going around and around and around. But
the old Fulton County Stadium.
Yeah. So Bud had to drive Dennis Martinez to the ball game, otherwise they never play the game. 216-575-0403 if you want to get in on the last segment. Let me give you our Facebook question of the day. With the MLB offseason set to begin, what move would you like to see the Indians make? Andy Meese says, realistically, I'd like to see the Tribe Brass try to extend Shane Bieber long-term and eat up his arbitration and some of those free agent years. If the young right-handed pitcher keeps up the rate he's going, he's a perennial Hall of Famer. Well, you can't be a perennial Hall of Famer. You get voted in once. perennial Cy Young Award winner, that's a different story. Anyway, Gregory Mees must have read Andy Mees' record. Maybe they're brothers. So Greg says, realistically, whatever Andy said. I think we've uncovered a relationship here, a familial relationship. Is that a word?
Familial, yes.
Yeah. Sounds like it should be. All right, we're going to take a break. We're coming back one more time with the D-mail. If you'd like to get into the voicemail of Truth and Reason, you can do that by calling 216-200-6650. We'll use that question during the day. You can, of course, go to that site and do it 23 hours a day when we're not on from 6 until 7. That, of course, is Eastern Time. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine continues with Dennis Manoloff exclusively on cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Darryl Ryder, 92.3 The Fan, will join us. We'll talk Browns football, obviously, Indians baseball, and time for a How Come Quickie by our staff. How come it's impossible to joke about Baker Mayfield without using some kind of a food reference? You have to, right? Baker? I would think. 216-575-0403. D-Man, we got some emails in addition to that. You know Wally Miskowski, the expert on Benedictine sports? You got to know Wally. You got to know Wally Miskowski. Maybe not. Yeah. All right, he sent in a quickie. It's a good one. How come an optometrist's office is a site for sore eyes?
Nice.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Big Ed. How come when my wife dropped a basket of clothes she just ironed, I watched it unfold? Now, Bud Shaw wouldn't like that. He'd say, they're called quickies, sir. Big Ed continues, how come Antarctica is at the bottom of the earth if ice floats? It's way too complicated and too scientific for me. Mr. Gullible, you ready for these? How come I'm not living in the past, I'm just making payments on it? You like that?
Yes.
How come when I knocked over, when I got knocked over on the bike path, it was a vicious cycle? You know, they're so stupid sometimes that when they're good, you're just so welcome to, you're just so happy that they're good ones as opposed to really stupid ones. And tonight was not really stupid, which is a compliment.
Right.
I don't know. All right. What do you got? You got a minute or two's worth? When are you next on 1100?
Tonight, 7 to 10. Tomorrow night, 7 to 10. Friday, 7 to 10. And then after the Browns on Sunday.
It's almost 7 to 10 right now. Oh, we're doing that let you out early trick.
Quick slide.
Mrs. Epstein says you need to come out early. Mrs. Epstein, of course, from Welcome Back, Kotter. All right, go ahead. What do you got? What are you going to lead off your show with?
It's a bitter pill, I think, for Kevin Cash. You know, we like Kevin Cash here in Cleveland. You know, one of the guys who came from Terry Francona's staff, and to be the manager of the Rays and to have to deal with that second guessing of himself. He may say that he won't second guess himself, but
Makes it a long winter. Makes it a long winter after a move like that.
Yeah, that's going to haunt him for the entire offseason, I would think.
Okay. What's your take on the Browns for tonight's show?
The Browns, I can't wait. I mean, I'm fired up to watch this game Sunday, and I'm bullish on the Browns. 5-2. I don't care how it's built. The fact is, they're 5-2. This is their best record through 7 games since '94.
Yeah, don't laugh at that. That's big. That is big.
Right.
I heard somebody say, "Why bother making the playoffs? You're not going to win anything." A person like that has never played a sport before if he doesn't understand how important it is to get from the bottom and work your way to the top.
Yeah, nobody's trying to pretend like the Browns are on the Steelers-Ravens level yet, but you got to you got to get into the playoffs first.
All right, I like when you do that 1100 WTAM because I get to get out about a minute and a half early. Have a great show. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. That'll do it for us. See you tomorrow night with Daryl Ryder. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.
Thanks, guys.